going to bring in Paulomi on this. Paulomi, the ED there saying in court that this is not just statements that we're going after. We also have CDR and phone records that very clearly corroborates all the statements made by these approvers. We have phone records. We've examined money trail and we've examined money trail backwards. And money transfer to Goa comes from 4 routes. Almost certain evidence and quite meaty evidence being provided by the ED in court today.
Well, as far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, what is substantial out of this coming out of this hearing is one, that they've said that Arvind Kejriwal, they believe, is the kingpin of this scam as per their investigation. And what they've done is they've established the money trail. It's not just, of course, restricted to CDRs. It's restricted. It's also there are chats as well, and of course the statements that they've received. So just a few important points right now. That what the Enforcement Directorate has said: money was paid in cash as bribes through the vendors. Invoices were raised only for partial amounts, since the remaining amount was paid in cash as bribes. So invoices were raised for a certain amount only, because the rest was being given in cash as bribes. They say that chats will corroborate everything, and the Enforcement Directorate read out a snippet of a chat which they have. They claim to have many more such chats. In that chat, they say person 1 said, payment will be in cash, when will I get it? Person 2 says, part of the payment will be in cash. Person 1, when will I get it? In one instance, they say that 6.5 lakhs cash was given. In another instance, 5.5 lakhs cash was given as well. We have corroborated, in fact, that these payments were made. That is a big statement that they're making, that they've corroborated the money trail and that these payments were made. 45 crores that were transferred via Hawala, via 4 routes to Goa, and huge amounts of cash that were handed over to various persons. And we've obtained the CDR of these various persons, and there are corroborative phone records as well, is what the Enforcement Directorate is saying. Evidence has been recovered from a company of Vijay Nair. We examined the money trail backwards, money transfer to Goa. Sources of these funds have also been revealed. Please see the huge amounts of cash that has been changing hands. That is bribe, is what they're trying to say. That see the amount of cash that has changed hands, and that is bribe. And they've been able to corroborate this backwards, and they found the money trail.
Big allegations and big proof there that's been presented in court. Paulomi, a quick word from Munish on that. Munish, all right, we've lost his connection, but Paulomi, by and large, as we look at the situation here, there's no doubt, at least from the words of the ED, as they present in court, that this scam may have happened. They have enough evidence there, so they suggest phone records and statements coming in along with money trail, and that money has exchanged many hands. But where in this entire scheme of things does this all connect to Arvind Kejriwal? Preeti, do you want to chime in on that? In fact, at this point, Arvind Kejriwal is said to be the kingpin. The hearing right now in the Rouse Avenue court is on his remand, seeking custody for 10 days. As much as they break down that these are the kind of evidences that we have, money has exchanged hands, these approvers have testified against some of the leaders in Aam Aadmi Party, etc. How does it all link to Arvind Kejriwal? If you're saying there is no signatures, there's Arvind Kejriwal's approval not in writing anywhere, then to say that Arvind Kejriwal is a kingpin, do you think is a sweeping statement?
You know, they're trying to build a case to get remand of Arvind Kejriwal, at least with the kind of what they've presented in terms of evidence in court, on the basis of which they will seek the remand. All that evidence needs to be proven in a court of law. But why do they say that he's the kingpin of it all? Number one, they say that conspiracy happened at the highest level, where a K. Kavita met an Arvind Kejriwal, number one. Number two, they say that 2 transactions took place. They say there's a tentative money trail, which leads up, technical evidence all the way to the Aam Aadmi Party. Who is the party convener? If it leads up to the Aam Aadmi Party, it directly indicts the party convener, who's Arvind Kejriwal in this case. Yeah. Then they corroborated with multiple statements of K. Kavita's staff, which say that Arvind Kejriwal was involved. On the other hand, they also are bringing out, they haven't said it in this court, on certain statements of Arvind Kejriwal. They are saying that they have CDR records. So they are trying to bolster the case. Whether this will be proven in a court of law is different. But are these grounds to give remand of Arvind Kejriwal? In all probability, yes, Nabila.
All right. So a quick word from Paulomi. Paulomi, as we see, a lot of people that are involved in this case. The Delhi liquor scam have people from different parties, including K. Kavita of the BRS. Here you have Arvind Kejriwal, who's been called a kingpin in this entire case. But do tell us, the court at this point is going to be deciding whether or not to grant custody of Arvind Kejriwal to the Enforcement Directorate. Will the fact that he's missed and skipped 9 summons consecutively go against him, irrespective of the evidence? Evidence aside, what the ED is presenting aside, the fact that he skipped ED summons itself would suggest that if he's not taken into custody today, then he could very well influence witnesses. He could try and destroy evidence. This could be a reasoning that could come up.
Well, that is something which was, in a way, decided upon by a higher court already. Delhi High Court yesterday, when they refused to grant interim protection from any sort of coercive action to the Delhi Chief Minister, the Delhi High Court made it absolutely clear that you need to join the investigation. There is absolutely no reason as to why you're preempting what the Enforcement Directorate is going to do, ask you, interrogate you about, and you are suggesting that this is all being done with some sort of a malified intent and politically motivated, as has been alleged by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, because of which you don't seem to be appearing before the investigating agency. So yes, it bears some sort of credible evidence, but at this point of time, of course, the Enforcement Directorate is presenting his case as to why they would want 10 days remand of Arvind Kejriwal, as to what sort of an investigation do they want to conduct, how do they want to interrogate him, what is the nature of the investigation that they're conducting, what have they found against him, the grounds for his arrest, and that is what the Enforcement Directorate is presenting at the moment in court in order to bolster its case, saying that we have enough evidence to show that cash exchanged hands, that bribes were given, that Arvind Kejriwal met with K. Kavita, another one of the co-accused in the Delhi excise policy scam case, and he's told her that they should be working together on the Delhi excise policy, that he suggested that kickbacks be given to the South Group as well. And what Enforcement Directorate has very critically just said is that all of the allegations that they're making, that 45 crores were given to Goa candidates through the Hawala routes, through in fact 4 routes specifically, all of this has been corroborated by one of the AAP Goa candidates. So that's huge. They're saying they have a statement from someone who was fielded as a candidate by the Aam Aadmi Party in the Goa Assembly elections, and the candidate has now corroborated that cash was given to them, which the Enforcement Directorate alleges is the cash that the Aam Aadmi Party Delhi government received as kickbacks in order to favor the South Group during, the dispersal of licenses for liquor vendors in Delhi under the excise policy of 2021-22. Even when MLAs were making payments in cash, they say MLAs were making payments in cash as well. So the ED is taking the court through the relevant provisions of the PMLA right now, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Our case is that he is not just liable to be punished for his individual role, but also vicariously liable for not having, for what was done by his associates. So not just is he culpable as an individual for what was his role, alleged role in the Delhi excise policy scam case, but for what was vicariously done, and he's vicariously liable for what was done by his associates, namely, of course, Vijay Nair. So kindly look at how he is responsible for the conduct of his associates as well, is what the Enforcement Directorate has said. And also, he is in charge of the affairs of the Aam Aadmi Party. The ED now is taking the court through the organizational structure of the Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, it has been debated for a while whether the Enforcement Directorate would go ahead and make Aam Aadmi Party an accused in this case as well. So very significantly, what Nalini is bringing to us right now from inside the Rouse Avenue courtroom is that he is in charge of the affairs of the Aam Aadmi Party, and now, right now, what the Enforcement Directorate is doing, that they're going to give a sense of how the organizational structure of the Aam Aadmi Party works, because what they're saying is that the Aam Aadmi Party benefited from this scam, and Arvind Kejriwal was the kingpin of this scam.